here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to another fabulous Wednesday evening with myself, Chris, the Mic Guy, and my co-host, Dusty, the Game Hopper. How you doing today, Dusty?
I'm doing fantastic, man. How about you?
Dude, you were psyching me out there with all those motions and no sound. I was like, did I really just lose him there at the intro?
No. I'm practicing my pantomiming just in case the Twitch career doesn't go anywhere.
So yeah, so you can go out and down to Old Town and stand on the corner.
Yeah, exactly. You know, gotta have a backup plan. It's always good life advice.
So first podcast. Unfortunately, the first podcast of 2021. Series of misfortune events caused us to not be able to record last week, but we are here now once again, and I'm super excited, man. 2021 has been such a interesting introduction.
Use your words wisely there.
Everybody was, and this was my one thing that I really was trying to convey when we talked about like New Year's resolutions and stuff. I was like, yeah, people need to be careful what they try and convey. You can have hopes and ideas, but don't think just because that number rolls, everything's going to be magically better.
Oh, yeah. Like we just reset the clock and everything's back to normal now. Yeah, we're still in the 30-day trial period for 2021. I'm not sure if I'm a buyer yet, but we'll see.
Yeah,
so far it's okay.
I was really hoping we could score that 90-day money back guarantee, but I said, I think they only give us 30 on this one, so we'll see. Yeah. I have a really bad feeling we might get stuck with a raw deal though. We'll have to find out, but come the end of January.
We'll just start looking forward to 2022 early. There's nothing wrong with that. When does it ever stop, though? Yeah. Enjoy the time now. Stop looking ahead. All right, what do we got? What's on the list?
So tonight we've got quite a few unique topics tonight. A whole lot again, just in the beginning. Everything that happened in Washington, D.C. We're not going to specifically discuss what's going on there, but that does play into one of the topics tonight regarding the change of Twitch culture with the PogChamp emote. We've got Shroud with max rating. We've got was it Greg FG? The Greg F. Grefka, I think it's I don't even know how to pronounce it, but we've got Gref with breaking a concurrent viewer list, a bunch of different other little minor things there. But let's start with avoiding the political portion of it. Right. Let's start with.
We don't like to talk about that nonsense.
The whole scenario of
being a dead horse.
Yeah, everybody's already talking about that. We don't need to go there right now. Yeah. Let's talk about the situation with that and the PogChamp emote and how that is a kind of a shift in Twitch culture. I had a discussion not this past Monday, but the Monday before when it first happened, right? Because it's been almost a week and a half now.
Almost, yeah.
It's been almost a week and a half since this has occurred, and there's been a couple talks about it. But like, what is your take, on exactly how this spun to be?
Oh, I mean, again, when politics get tied into conversations and stuff these days, I tend not to dive too deeply into those articles. So, the whole PogChamp, why it was banned initially, from my knowledge, honestly, it was viewed as part of the protests or something like that. It was used to incite it, or I don't know if people were wearing it, sending it, whatever it may have been. Somehow it's now somewhat meaning it's aligned with that. So obviously Twitch said, you know what, well, we don't want to promote anything along those lines, so we're going to get rid of it completely. They come up with the idea of, hey, we don't know what it's going to be yet. Let's make something where it's just rotating every 24 hours. And man, that lasted a while before people threw more hissy fits and got upset about it. I honestly don't know too many details about what their issues are with the new emotes. So you can fill me in a little bit and I can give you my take on that.
So touching back on what happened is the original owner.
Mm-hmm. So he
was involved. The face that portrayed PogChamp was very adamant or very, very supportive of what happened in the Capitol.
Gotcha.
So Twitch wanted to take every opportunity it could to distance itself from that.
Okay.
I made a statement last Monday that I'm fully supportive of the way Twitch handled the situation. Well, I'm fully supportive of the decision that Twitch made. I'm not necessarily supportive in the way they handled it, but a business is a business. Every CEO is going to do their own thing, right? They have their own. If they want to be as transparent as they want to be, they can do whatever they want, right? That's on them. So
yeah, and it's better to be decisive and act quickly than to like babyfoot around and not do anything and say, oh no, we're looking into it and this and that. And so I at least applaud them on choosing a direction, going with it, and being upfront.
So almost immediately after it happened, right? It was like, right, everything occurred on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Sunday came around, there was no PogChamp emote. We're thinking, what's going on? Monday came around, no PogChamp emote. And then it was like Monday night so it was last Monday night that they introduced the idea. I saw it start rolling around on Twitter about, hey, we should have a rotating PogChamp. Like I saw the tweet going on between Twitch and some other creators. Yeah. We should have a rotating PogChamp. And they were saying like weekly, or it would be nice if you did something with different creators or whatever it was, right? Okay. So that Twitch was like, yeah, this is a good idea. Let's do that. And so that started up, and two things were, here's my concept on Twitch, right? This has been my running statement for Twitch for the past 9 months, right? Almost a year. This has been my running statement on Twitch is it's a well-intended decision that just wasn't thought out properly. Yeah. So my first take on the PogChamp emote, there's no reference to the owner of the face. There's no reference to the owner of the face when you're using the emote.
Yeah, right? I have no idea who
there's no guarantee to it. So if you're not active, they do every day. What they had been doing is every day on Twitter they had been posting the channel that the face came from. But if you don't go to their Twitter feed every day, I don't go to Twitch's Twitter feed every day. I just happen to be looking for some information. I heard some people complaining about it, so I went there and looked, and I saw that for the past 6 days that they've been doing that. So
so they're interesting.
So they were posting it on Twitter and not providing any information anywhere else, right? There was no guarantee. You couldn't like at least let us click on it and say this is owned by whatever channel and let us go subscribe to that channel or whatever, right? Like just retransition. Find some way to support the creator inside of Twitch, right? Yeah, because that was a big thing that I didn't like. Another thing, there was a really big discussion, an open harassment, I guess is what it was going on. People were finding out they were going to that creator. Yeah. And if they weren't in support of those creators' ideals or content, basically harassing that creator on Twitch, Twitter, et cetera, social media feeds, right? And basically bashing and trying to hurt that creator. And part of that concept, there were two stages of that, right? Like, yeah, either they were disappointed that some other creator, that creator got it and not another, right? Or whatever. Or they were upset that the original creator lost his spot, right? So there was two sides of destruction and two sides of harassment going at these creators already.
Yeah, I have some questions about that for you. Now, do you say, or I shouldn't say do you say, in your opinion, do you think, does the blame or the fault lie in Twitch for, hey, let's choose another content creator every 24 hours? Or is it the community's fault for just not receiving it in a good way and turning it instead into some ridiculous witch hunt?
So or
a little bit of both, maybe?
It is a little bit of both.
It's tough, right?
I love the idea. I really do. I love the idea.
In my head, I was like, how can this go wrong?
Right.
But,
I love the idea.
Don't question the internet.
A rotating PogChamp is actually a really, really, really cool idea. I mean, just the concept that you can have something different every day. Some of the emotes haven't really looked great, but whatever. Like it's still something that rotates. You only have to look at it for 24 hours. I would have spanned it maybe a week and then done this for an entire year or something like that, and just picked your top 50 creators or whatever. Right? Like it doesn't matter. But I think there's some issue. Again, I wish there was more accreditation towards the original creator in somewhere inside of Twitch. Right? Even if okay, you got picked for PogChamp. your channel is going to be sponsored for the rest of the day. So when people go to Twitch, they're going to see your channel, even if it's something like that. Like, I don't care. I'm not going to get it, so it's not going to impact me. It's not going to impact me at all.
I would love to see my face all over Twitch chats. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, I'm not going to get it, so I don't care, right, how they handled it, but I just wish there was some way to support the creator in that way. Because if people really liked the emote, then they could go to that channel and subscribe to that content creator and keep it. Right? Like, I think that's a good idea. And to me, I think Twitch really kind of screwed that up because that's a revenue opportunity for them.
Missed an opportunity,
Yeah. I mean, like, that's a great revenue opportunity for them. And we know Twitch is about revenue, right? Like, why didn't they consider that?
I mean, it might, again, just be how rushed they were to do something, and I don't know. And again, maybe they're naive like me sometimes where, we look at something and like, oh, how could this go wrong? Like we don't need to do anything else besides just say, hey, cool, here, you get the PogChamp for 24 hours, awesome. But
yeah. So yeah, that's the second statement. We just talked about it. Like our last stream of 2020 was how to be a better viewer. We were talking about it and saying that this is something that we need to be doing, right? Like why do we continue to be a cancerous culture? Like, what is wrong with us as a culture that continues? And I don't mean us directly, right? Because I don't feel but in general, like, why do we feel like we can't? Why do we feel like we can't be supportive of each other, even if we don't agree 100% on each other's ideals? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. Like, I just can't fathom the concept that if you disagree with somebody, you hate them. It just doesn't make sense to me.
And again, I'll keep using the word naive here again. I would be naive, anybody would be naive to think that you're going to walk outside and every opinion you have that everybody else is going to agree with it. And if they don't, then shame on them, don't talk to them, canceled. Like, no. That's how great ideas are made. Some person has one opinion, somebody has another. They work together and say, "Oh, hey, you know what? Both our ideas mashed together is the super idea that we've been looking for." It's like I like Doritos,
but I like tacos. So now we go to Taco Bell and we make the Doritos chalupa or whatever that thing was, the Doritos crunchy taco.
Doritos Locos taco.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's how great ideas are made. Like, come on, man. Like,
we got to be more about lifting people up than putting them down. Like, and again, if you don't like what they're selling or what they're doing or what they are, just leave them alone. Ignore them. You don't have to get in their face about it. I'm with you. It's just, I can't fathom. I can't believe. I'm astonished every time I read more about it that seems to be like, it's becoming the norm. And that's a horrible thing to say and a horrible thing to see. And I really hope that trend doesn't continue.
Yeah. So this is where we're going to point out, right? This is where we're going to say, this is where I'm going to point at the camera like I always do for this. Yes. This is where I'm going to point at the camera and I'm going to say, Twitch, you're doing a good job, but you can do a little bit better.
Yeah.
Identify the creators in the PogChamp. Find a way to make it happen and just get these people out of here. Get this cancerous culture. Stop being bad viewers, guys. Just knock it off. It's not worth the bent up hate for yourself.
No,
like
try being nice for a little bit.
Try being nice. You'll be surprised. It feels good. It feels good to be nice. Amazing. Who would have thought?
Crazy, right? Oh, what a concept. I have no time for negativity and any of that. It's exhausting. It's exhausting to deal with. It's exhausting to handle yourself. Smile. Be happy. Let's do it. 2021.
Yes.
Woo!
Yes. So next stage. We'll roll into this, and this is actually going to be probably our main topic. This is our bullet topic for the night, but I want to hit it now because I like the man. Shroud trying to raid out and getting told by Twitch. Okay. What Shroud, for those of you who don't know, this week, Shroud tried to... Yeah, it was a couple days ago. Well, yeah, I guess over the weekend maybe or something like that. Shroud tried to raid a small content creator. And in the process of submitting the raid, /raid, whatever creator name, Twitch gave him a notice on his channel before the raid went through that he had too many viewers to complete the raid.
Yep. You exceed the maximum number allowed. Like, what? Why is that even programmed? I didn't know that was a thing. Has it always?
I don't know. And I'm actually going to look this up. Record for largest raid on Twitch.
Did he have a name ready to go?
He did. He hit raid, and it started the process, and it told him.
Dude, again, I know we've talked about how like raiding is not like an end-all be-all for growth or some, life-changing moment. Sometimes it can be. But man, do you feel for whoever that poor individual group content creator that missed out.
I mean, even if it was somebody that was in the 50,000 viewer range, whatever, you're getting an additional, like at the time he had, what was it? I sent you the numbers. It was like either 68 or 680. I sent you the numbers earlier today. It was
89,000. I thought it was
89,000 viewers. Yeah. So it wasn't even 100K plus, right? It was 89,000 viewers, right? 89,000 viewers. That's it.
No big deal. Not 100K or anything.
I mean, no, but you see Tim, you see these other guys.
I'll take it.
And I'm looking it up now. I'm looking it up, and the largest raid. Nope, that's not it. That's the largest stream. I can't see the.
I'm trying to see if I can find out who it was.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to look and see, because I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it before. I was trying to figure out how to optimize my search to get the the largest raid on record. I don't really think there is one, because I have to say that Ninja, Shroud, Tim, Mercs, some of these guys had to have raided before with more than 89,000 viewers. Like, if you really think about it, somebody has to have done it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I can understand some logistic issues maybe with just transferring that many windows at one time, but really all you're doing is dumping the feed, right? All you're doing is changing the output of the feed from one stream key to the other stream key. In my brain, that's all you're doing, right? I'm sure that, there's a whole bunch of back end to that and a whole bunch of processing power that needs to go into doing that, but I can't see that it would be that much, really. I don't know. It's something really weird to me that I think Twitch is really dropping the ball here. Like, it's one of those concepts that, if Twitch didn't know by now,
can't see who it is.
If Twitch didn't know by now that they had a raid cap, what are they doing? Like, why don't they know? Why didn't they know this in advance? Like, as the platform continues to get bigger, you've got to increase these metrics. You've got to increase these numbers. You've got to grow with your viewership.
Yeah, and again, too, with the infrastructure they have and how many, viewers and stuff like that on a regular basis that they're handling, it shocks me that they're not, like, there's no way it's some technical limitation. Like, it's just some line of code that's existed that people weren't aware of or something till this point, or what, but because there's no way I believe that, like, our servers can't handle it,
Yeah, it's got to be something at one point in time where that's what it was. It was like, they
arbitrary number.
That's what I said. They probably said an arbitrary
80, who knows?
And nobody knows what the number is, right? There's no guideline, there's no rule that says, by the way, raids can only go up to this many viewers, right? If it was written somewhere, sure, right? And you know what? They're probably going to release some tech pub document or something like that says, by the way, here's the max raid counters. They're probably going to try to CYA, right? Just to make sure that they can save face a little bit. The
argument at that point too becomes why? Why is there a max? Get rid of it. People won't be happy about that.
And if they come out, they'll come out with some numbers. They'll come out with some information. They'll say something, right? And that's fine, whatever. But at least give us a number so we can say,
right?
Okay, here it is, right? Don't leave the limitation. And then what are you going to be doing to try to get it better, right? Like, how do you get that number up? What is Twitch going to do?
Seriously.
To help out creators? Because what if Tim, like, we'll just say, what if Tim wanted to raid Mercs?
Yep.
Right? Combine those two communities together, right? At the end of their streams. What if they wanted to do that? Like, is Twitch going to be like, oh, we're going to throw away 100,000 viewers?
Sorry.
I mean, like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense to me.
You're right. Yeah, because when the alternative is that 100K is disconnected from the platform as far as ads, anything else like that, it's no favor to Twitch, or they're doing a disservice to themselves to say, hey, sorry, we're not going to let these people continue to watch any of the content here on our platform.
Exactly.
It's like
exactly what we
No,
mentioned. Exactly what we just mentioned 5 minutes ago. That is a missed revenue opportunity. Think about
Come on,
how
Twitch.
think about
What
how
are you
community
doing?
right. Think about how communities work. Think about how Shroud has worked in the past, where he has rated people and dropped 100 subs or 200 subs or whatever it is, right? Shroud is then reinvesting that money because a lot of times they're affiliates. A lot of times, they're smaller content creators. Twitch is eating up a portion of money that they're having to pay Shroud, and Shroud's basically giving the money back to them.
Oh, for sure.
Why wouldn't they want that to happen more often?
Shroud's got plenty to spare.
Right. Why wouldn't they want that to happen, right? I mean, it makes no sense not to allow that to happen. And I don't understand. I don't understand. And Twitch needs to respond to this. Right, they do. They need to respond to this, and they need to come out with something that tells us what exactly is the solution here, right? What do you do when you get in this position? Because, granted, most of us aren't there, but those of us who do get there, what do you do? How do we handle that? How do we continue to keep these viewers, right? Twitch's goal is to keep as many viewers on the platform as they can at any given time. How do you keep them here?
Makes a lot of sense, right?
If I can't raid, okay, I'll just host, but you guys come and chat by yourselves. I'm going to go, I'm going to leave. You guys stay on my channel and just talk amongst yourselves. It doesn't work like that, right? People aren't going to sit there and do that. I mean, they might, some of them might, maybe 25, 30, 40% of them, but, you're going to lose a fair share majority of them.
Yeah, and that's to be expected. Jeez. It's a good thing it doesn't look like he shows who he was about to raid. Because you imagine, you're that person and you see
you're that
happen.
person? Oh my gosh, yeah, and you heard about it, and you were like,
"Oh, cool!"
You're like,
the
"Wait a minute,
I missed out on."
Yeah, I know, and I'm wondering how he responded. I wonder if he went to that channel. I don't know the after notes, right? Yeah. He may have made a statement at some point in time and said,
"I think he told people, just go check out."
I
think he named a couple content creators to go over there and look at him.
Yeah, knowing what I know about him, that's my assumption is that he just said.
And I think, go ahead.
I was going to say, knowing what I know about him and what I've seen, he would say, okay, here's who I was going to raid. Go check him out. Yeah. Be generous like you would be with me. Right. Yeah. And then, here's some other great people that are live right now.
Yeah. I think there were other Rust players on the server that he's been a part of. I think that's what, obviously that's what he was playing. So he was just trying to share some of the love.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All I see is they're just all joking that his line was, he said, guess I'm too famous.
Yeah.
Too famous now. The good old Shroud dry humor that goes over so well.
Yeah. So
Twitch right now is 2 for 2 on missed revenue opportunities.
2 for 2 on missed revenue opportunities. Exactly. Yeah.
Man, I wouldn't want to be there for that Q1 financial report. Investors, be upset. Get on them. Make some changes.
So the next one, this Grefka? Grefka. It's G-R-E, the Greg, G-R-E-F-G, Grevga, whatever it is.
Okay.
Completely, not even, and it makes me, it makes me ill that I know what's going on, honestly, but.
Oh yeah. I know what's going on a little bit too.
Not even shattering, so the individual creator record was 600,000 viewers.
I think I know his personal best before this was 660,000. I don't know if he held the record previously. I thought it was close to 1 million, but I could be wrong.
Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so the previous record was around 600,000 viewers for Ninja when he played Fortnite with Drake.
Okay.
When he did, it was a Fortnite duos or pro. It was one pro, one famous person or something like that. I remember that tournament they did back in 2018. And
a pro-am in golf, but with video games.
Yep. So they did that back in 2018, and it was around 600,000 viewers. A little more than. And then this guy comes in and just absolutely rocks it with over 2 million viewers.
Yeah, he almost hit 2.5, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Over
2.47.
2 million. Over 2 million playing Fortnite. over 2 million viewers playing Fortnite.
Yeah,
Like,
he was having a Fortnite skin unveiled for him.
Yes,
if I'm not mistaken. I think too, something that has to like go into the thought of how something like this happens. I think like this also became a word of mouth thing. Like people were talking about it as the numbers were going up, and everybody was just trying to jump in on the FOMO moment.
Yep.
The record.
I want to be there. I want to be there when this happens.
Hashtag I was there.
Yep.
Type of like.
That's my clip. That's my clip. That's going viral right now. Right, kind of concept.
Oh my God! Could you imagine looking down at your viewership number and seeing 2.47 million people?
But we can have.
What do you say at that point?
We can have 2.5 million. We can have 2.5 million, but we can't raid with 68,000. Right?
Yeah,
I mean.
Yeah, I wonder if this guy tried to raid when he was done.
But so the previous so the previous record for an individual content creator, right, was around 600K.
Yeah.
The previous record for a channel was like 1.1 million, and that was like some esports league or something. It was like League Live
TV,
or something.
I think.
Yeah, something had like 1.1 million. So he like completely like it just absolutely doubled the next closest
group records. Like that's more concurrent viewers than like any game, or anything has ever had. Let alone channel.
What would be if you had? I would love to look at the numbers, and maybe I'll post this on Twitter later or something.
Yeah.
What the total viewership was at the time he was online. Okay. Like if he owned literally like 50% of the viewership on Twitch.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, like how much
of total Twitch viewership did he own at that time?
Twitch tracker probably could tell you that.
Because that would just be absolutely insane to see. Like the top 5 channels owned, at that point in time, the top 5 channels owned literally like 90% of viewers or something like that. Like some kind of crazy number.
I get a little sweaty and nervous just thinking about having that kind of influential power at that moment. Like any word you utter is being broadcast to 2.5 million people.
How many people watch the Super Bowl?
That's pressure. Much more than that.
Much more than that? Okay. I don't know.
Like 30 million plus.
Is it? Okay.
I think so. But also, a lot of questions pop into my head when this happened. Like, the man runs a 30-second ad. How much money does he make?
I don't even want to know.
With 2.5 million people eyes on, how do you not run an ad at some point? Just boop, pocket like 50 G's, just like that. Oh God, man, dreams. I mean, that's obviously that's not a dream. That's just an unreality for the rest of us. But he looked like he handled it well. I'm not gonna lie. I tuned in for a little bit. I don't know if you were.
I did not. I didn't. You were there. You were there. So you were a part of that 2 point.
Yeah,
you were the FOMO moment.
Yeah, I don't speak Spanish, unfortunately. That's he I believe that's his main language. But I mean, he looked like he was handling it just fine. He was living in it, enjoying it. Shouting, having a good time, and just feeding off the numbers, skyrocketing, which is pretty cool to see. I'd be shitting myself. Obviously he's a big content creator, so he's used to
I mean
numbers in general,
that's kind of another one of those questions if we ever got into it. Like, when do you not notice the difference?
I honestly think once you're not like individually conversing with people in your chat, so whatever number that is,
150, maybe. I mean, maybe less than that. Like after that, you notice, right? But you don't. Yeah. You don't notice. Like it becomes. Again, you're disconnected, right? Yeah. Like you are then there purely to create content, right? Like the idea is you're just there to be the entertainer. Chat entertains itself, right? And you entertain with video, right?
Collective whole. So, like, very rarely you're, like, directing things at them. You're more just in your moment, whatever it may be. So, yeah, I have to say, like, it's nice to see the numbers go up, but, yeah, I don't think that they're thinking anything more of, more money obviously goes through their head when they have more people. I don't think these guys or these people sweat it when, 100K, 200K, 500K, there's no difference to them as a content creator at that point.
Right. Yeah. So
And the system handled it, So why can't it handle a 90,000 raid? Come on.
It's one of those things. It's one of those things. I'm guaranteeing. I am guaranteeing that Twitch is kicking themselves in the face. Right? They're literally just doing everything they can to stretch their leg as far as they can and get it up above their chest and put it right in their eyeball because I guarantee it was an arbitrary number. It was probably back in 2012 or whatever. They were doing a huge
right. Numbers like that were absurd.
And they were like, okay, yeah, we're just going to throw in this number because we're never going to hit it, right? It was an idea that, we're never going to hit that number, and it just sat in the back of code somewhere. And now that somebody's hit it, they're like, oh crap, man, like. Whoops. That was on that DevOps team to adjust that 6 months ago, but we said that that's low priority. That's low priority. It's never happened. We'll
get around to it. Not a big deal.
I'm actually rather surprised that they've never hit that before. I don't watch.
Right.
I just don't watch enough of the complete streams. To realize that. You know what I'm wondering now, though. You know what I'm wondering now that I'm thinking about it? Remember when the Game Awards came on? Yeah. And they were supposed to do that raid afterwards.
True. Yeah.
They were supposed to raid out.
Yeah, and they had what? It was a couple 100K.
It was a couple 100,000 people. And the raid just never occurred. It just sat there and nobody came on to say anything. We're all we were all waiting there. We're all like, okay, where's the raid? Where's the raid? What are we doing? What are we doing? And it just sat there. To be it. I bet they tried, and it disconnected and it kicked itself. So Twitch, shame on you, because if that's factual, you should have known that, right? Like, I don't know if Twitch gets an alert and says, "Hey, somebody tried to raid and it went over cap," right? Whatever, but I don't know what the deal is, or if it just spits out a reaction to the channel. But Twitch needs to fix that. That's something that, as as the platform continues to grow, fix it. It needs to get better.
Yeah, that definitely needs to change. Very, very interesting.
Next one, and I didn't roll this by you yet because I found it out after we talked this morning. This is going to be an interesting one. Valkyrie. She was recommended, or she was on. Did she win Content Creator? No, she didn't win Content Creator of the Year.
She did for Game Awards.
She did for Game Awards. That's right. She won Content Creator of the Year, right? Big up and comer. Yep. I think she actually started streaming in 2017, 18 or something like that. But she's
fairly new.
Yeah, she's been on.
2020 was one of her first full years.
So she's huge on YouTube. Absolutely huge on YouTube. Has over 40,000 subscribers on YouTube or something like that. 35 plus. I don't know the exact number. I think it's somewhere near 40 or something. Yeah. Leaked.
Is she FaZe or 100 Thieves? She's one of those, isn't she?
I'm not positive. Right. Accidentally.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
She accidentally leaked, and this happened in December, but she accidentally leaked the amount of money that she earns on YouTube in 28 days.
And it's absurd.
I've heard some of these numbers in the past. I've never heard them from a channel this large. Right. Yeah. I've heard those medium channels, like you've got 100,000 subscribers or something like that, right? Where they're making, $10,000 a month or something like that. And that's still, that's big money. That's huge money, right? That's upwards of $120K a year, right? At a 100,000 subscriber channel. Her channel at the time that this was leaked, she had 36.4 million subscribers and 8.4 million hours of watch time. Okay, obviously that number is absolutely absurd. 8.4 million hours in 28 days. Right?
God, what a wonderful thing, right?
Yeah. In 1 month, in a 28-day period, she was estimated to gross $172,000+ in 1 month.
Wouldn't it just be man? I have no words.
I don't.
You don't have a YouTube channel now, guys. Start one up. Get going.
I don't.
Get the money that can be made.
I can't fathom that.
Oh,
you can fathom, and you can be like, I could never spend that much. Yeah, you could, but right,
yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that like a drop from the previous
That was,
month?
yeah. The article says that it was actually like a 10% drop or something like that compared to the month before or something like that, right? You didn't see the other numbers, but like I'm thinking to myself,
200K the month before.
like, and it puts a lot of things in perspective to me, right? It really changes the perspective to me, right? You're talking about $172,000 a month. Right, when Mr. Beast does all of his content, right? Guy's got one of the largest. Yeah. He's got one of the largest channels on YouTube right now, right? When he does all of his content, he's giving away houses, he's giving away cars, he's paying cash for them, right? It's a tax write-off at that point for him. I get it. It's still super generous. It's still a crazy idea. I still think Mr. Beast is an awesome person.
Yeah,
but
I'm still not 100% sure how on the level all the giveaways are, but.
Wow.
I know for the most part he's a good dude trying to do good things.
Well, my problem is I couldn't imagine. Well,
yeah.
so Mr. Beast, like it just gets me. It puts into perspective how some of these channels can do some of these absolutely ridiculous, lavish things. Because again, even if you're making $1,000 a month, say you're making $1,000 a month, that opens the door so much for like what type of content you can create, right? If you had if you had $1,000 a month, like I do microphone reviews, right? If I had $1,000 a month to invest in microphones, I could do a lot more content than I do right now, right? I mean, like it's you know, it's a matter of getting 4 premium microphones versus 1 budget microphone a month, right? Like that's a huge difference in the level of content you can provide and this type of stuff you can do. I mean, that's
the beauty
amazing.
of it. Like that's why I was talking about like once you get to that point where obviously the content creation is more than paying for itself, the growth you have from that point becomes exponential, you know, because these people, they hire editors, they hire everything where, you know, all they're doing at this point now, I think she's 100 Thieves, if I'm not mistaken, from looking it up, which I know there's a lot of stuff afforded to her from that group as well, but all the individuals too. All they have to do is just log on, do their Twitch, whatever it is, record, and everybody else takes care of editing, this and that. And there might be some people that do it themselves, but it just allows them to get so much more done and so much more out there when they don't have to worry about doing all the other legwork.
So that really puts something into perspective for me, though. Like, what is XQC doing with his money?
Oh, I know, yeah. When he's sitting in his little janky bedroom that he's been in for like the last 5 years.
Right. I mean, you've got guys like Tim, right? Tim doesn't have like Mercs. I get it. Mercs has it cost him like, I think he said it was $200,000+ for his stream setup, right? Like for his room. Yeah. And it's amazing. And granted, portions of that are donated and sponsored and blah, blah, blah. But still, right, I'm sure he's got some significant amount, like he owns the land and all this. I'm sure there's some significant amount that's invested by him.
Except technically now, isn't he in Florida? Doesn't he not have that space anymore?
Tim is, not Mercs.
I think didn't Mercs move here too?
Did Mercs reload? I did not know.
He might have.
I don't know. I know Tim. I know Tim moved up to the Panhandle. So, but that's gonna be great when hurricane season comes and Tim's not able to stream. You know, he's gonna be loving that.
He moved in October of last year.
Oh, okay. So
Tim. So yeah, that's what I was gonna say because I've watched his streams lately and he's doing it from like a room in the house.
Okay.
So maybe they're working on something or he's done stuff differently. But yeah, no, even his fortress he had was decked out.
Yeah. And that's where, you know, part of the investment comes to the brand, you know, and Tim's never had a huge room, but like, what is like, I could see, but he's had a nice setup, right? Mm-hmm. But what are these guys investing in right now? Like, where is that going? Are they just setting themselves up for when they know the one day that it's going to flip and they're not going to be popular anymore, right? Are they just preparing for that point in time? Because I can almost guarantee that Tim has probably, dream-wise or being realistic, Tim has probably already made more money since he's been a content creator than I will my entire life, right? Like, I mean...
Oh, yeah. Hey, man, except for when we make it big.
Hey, I'm shooting for it. Like I said, I'm saying being realistic and being where my dreams are two totally different levels.
But yeah, no, I think one of the things people don't always realize, too, with content creators at that level... It's not just them at all. You know, it's teams of people. You know, a lot of these guys have talent agencies that they get hired through that start handling a lot of stuff for them as far as contracts with different sponsorships and all this wonderful things going on. So, I mean, I guarantee these people have financial guys that are smartly investing their money and just kind of taking care of all the legwork for them.
That's probably really true. Now that I should step back on that, because I've seen a lot of Tim's early content.
Yeah.
And when he had the long red hair, hair, dude. I've seen a lot of Tim's really early content, and he seemed like, even at the time, he had a really level head on his shoulders. Like, he understood what he was doing. He understood, he had the same mentality. When I make it big, right, this is what I'm going to do. And, hey guys, you need to make sure you're preparing for this and things. And I would say that's probably what it is. You get an accountant, you get, a team you get lawyers, you get an accountant, right? And you also got to think, they're paying well over 35% income tax on some of this stuff, right? I mean, they're probably
these guys are paying is more than we'll make in our life.
Yeah, I mean, they're paying. I mean, granted, they're gonna have loopholes and they're gonna have all these kind of funny, because you have your accountant, you have your tax guy, you have
guys.
Right, you have the money guys to help you not pay as much, but still, like realistically, the lowest bracket for self-employment, I think, it's around 20% at the lowest level, right? You're paying like 12% self-employment, then it's like 8% for Medicare, Social Security, all that kind of stuff, right? So you're looking at almost 20%, for the lowest level. I can't imagine when you get up to those levels. Plus, you're paying, like you said, you're paying for editors, you're paying for media people, you're paying for. Granted, at that point, most of your equipment is sponsored, provided, right? Stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
but
again,
that's not something.
Money, more things are given to you for free, which still blows my mind.
That's something where you're not rotating equipment though. Like how often has Tim changed his microphone? I think he's had an SM7B forever, right? Like, I mean, for a long time, right? Like,
did he have an AT 2035 for a while?
He did have an AT for a while in his old room. He had a SM7B.
Yeah,
I think
right.
now.
Yeah. He upgraded.
But yeah, it's just one of those things where, you're gonna end up having a lot of content available to you, or you're going to have a lot of support available to you. So you're paying out for that support. Oh, yeah. But even at 20% of $172,000 a month.
Yeah.
What is 20% of that? I don't even know. 10 would be 17. So it's still $30,000 a month at 20% of that. And you're putting 80% back into the business.
Yeah. No. And again, too, we have to remember that these people are making that kind of money just playing video games, doing what they enjoy. So I don't think at any point they're crying over the taxes they have to pay. If they are, they need to take a step back and remember what they're doing, God. Ugh. I would take 10% of that, and be content, live the rest of my life.
10% and invest the rest of it in your content?
Yeah, well, no, yeah, just making 10% of what those big content creators
you're
do.
talking about take home.
To be at that level. But yeah, just, do $17K
a month.
Yeah. Be fine. I'll make it work. The things I would do, like, I feel like, because I am with you a little bit too, XQC, a lot of these people, like, they're obviously putting some back into their content, paying a lot of people. Yes, we talk about that, but then really just bettering their content, their space, all that kind of stuff. It seems like there's the possibility to do a lot more. Maybe my brain's just going to some places that other people's aren't, which means I'm not going to share those ideas with you because then you'll take them from me. I'm talking to people out there, not EQ specifically. But a lot of things go through my head if I had that kind of cash to throw around.
Oh, this would be like this thing would be like a dead zone, soundproof, everything. Like this would be a recording. This would literally be a recording booth. It would sound.
Oh yeah.
It would probably sound absolutely terrible for streaming, but that's what it would be. That's what it would be for my microphones. Like this behind me would just be black. Everything would be black, and it would all be.
We'd have a designated office space just for What the Wednesday somewhere.
Yeah.
Like
at that point, you buy a building and you have 5 offices. Oh, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like at that point, that's what you do. You have dedicated lines coming to for internet and everything like that.
Oh, dude, yes. Oh man. all the upload bandwidth I could ever want.
Exactly. Things like that where you're literally running servers and it's a whole new world. It's a whole new world. And I think that's where the idea and we can roll this into the next segment here. That's where the idea of some of these stream teams and these gaming teams, like I think 100 Thieves is a good one, right? Like I think for the most part 100 Thieves is a good brand. It seems like Courage is in 100 Thieves, right? That's the one that I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everything I've seen from Courage's content seems like a really decent dude. Seems like he has a lot of fun doing what he does. Seems like he grew up as a content creator basically, and he's basically turned his brand into a business and does stuff for other content creators. It's not one of these like esports teams that have basically taken a content creator and shuffled them into a really terrible contract, right? I'm sure Courage makes money on all of his creators, right? I'm 100% positive that
Nate Shot is the
owner.
100 Thieves. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so Nate Shot, regardless, right? Whatever it is. So I'm sure he's there, right? And they're I'm sure he gets money off of all of his creators, right? Whatever it is, percentage of revenue, blah, 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 just a standard contract. But it seems to me like they don't rake the coals over their content creators like some other businesses have in the past. And that leads into, Harris Heller coming into the same kind of idea, right? With Senpai HQ.
Senpai HQ?
I mean, the name is definitely Harris, right? It's definitely Harris. It's his brand. It's his thing. But I have to say that this move for him, I knew it was going to happen, right? I knew it was going to happen. I saw it coming, but it's a good move. It's a good move for him. And he's already hired on. I think he's so Sam is his editor. His editors lived in England. So Sam is moving to the U.S. He's paying all the expenses for Sam to come to the U.S.
Awesome.
And basically I think he's gonna live at the HQ, right, or something like that. He's already hired 2 other people. And Harris has done a bunch of other content with people in the area, or like flown them in for a video and stuff like that. Like he's doing same kind of concept. Like it's this idea, just like you said, it's this idea where once you've got money to invest in creating content, not just supporting what you have. Like once you have money to invest in creating content, then you have an opportunity to do really big things. And I think this is where
what I want, man. I want to do big things.
Right. And that's where I think a lot of people need to make sure that their remaining focus is, right? Their focus is, we need a business, not just a streamer, right? A lot of people and a lot of kids today, and a lot of, I just want to grow up and be a YouTuber. Like I want to be a YouTuber for a living. Like I get that. I hear that a lot from kids today. And admirable dream, right? Like that was never a statement when we were kids, right? Like that was not true. It was like, I want to be a professional football player, I want to be a professional basketball player or something like that, right? Like never a YouTuber. But, that's an admirable thing if you want to do that, but don't think small, right? Like I tell everybody, don't think small. You need to have a plan. What happens when you get there? Because you need to keep doing something else. Otherwise, you're just going to sit there and then you're going to lose your value. You're going to lose your, not lose, but you could do more with that. You could get more.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you miss out on the chance to continue the growth. You stunt yourself. You have to be prepared for if you do get to that level. Well, now what next? You always have to have an answer to that question. What next? What next? What next?
I think
that's the success for these people is they're prepared for that.
I think we talked about this like 6 months ago or something. I forget when it was that I remember referencing this, but it was I always forget his name. The guy from the guy that owns the Dallas Mavericks, Shark Tank, Mark Cuban. I always forget his name. But we referenced this like 6 months ago where Mark Cuban came out with that statement that basically says he'll never support the idea of content creation because you're trading time for money, right? And as long as you're trading time for money, you're always losing. What you need to do is you need to trade money to make more money, right? So once you get to the point to be able to do that, and I think that's what Nate Shot did, right? That's what Harris is doing. That's what these other people are doing. Once you get an opportunity to have your money make you more money, then you're doing the right thing. Then you're set for life because then you can step back do what you love as a hobby or do what you love as just fun. And then if you decide that I don't love this anymore, you still have revenue coming in, right? That's the fear, I think, for a lot of people, is if you lose relevance or if you fall out of love with it, you could really run into a lot of you run into serious revenue issues in the second half of your life, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely true, because the way the internet exists, you could be the in thing, you could be it for 5 years and then boom, gone one day. You don't even see it coming. It's tough. There's no way to predict it, but like you said, it's the classic. You don't want to work for your money. You want your money to work for you. So the people who are making it now need to make sure that it'll last. And I'm sure, again, if you're making $200K a month, you'll be fine. But the ones who aren't necessarily at that level as well, still be smart about what you're doing with it. Invest properly back into your business and elsewhere to make sure that you survive when your time is up online.
Right. So we are rolling right into that 55-minute marker now. We do have a small portion of Q&A here to discuss. In Discord, we did get a discussion. Let me open it up here. And we have talked about this once in the past, but since it's up on our Q&A now, I'm going to go ahead and we'll readdress it, because I think we've got some new listeners and some new viewers that may or may not have heard this before. It was a little more directed towards me personally, but we're going to expand it because it was asking about, how did you come up with your gamer tag, right? Like, how did you come up with your name? So I want to relay this. And I think we just talked about this like a week ago on another stream, right? It wasn't on the podcast, but on another stream. So
yeah, I've had this question asked to me, actually, I feel like several times in the last couple of weeks.
So as you get more viewers, as you get more listeners, this is the goal right here. You need to record this segment right here and just say, hey, go watch this video. Right, we already talked about this. Just go check this one out.
Yeah. I like that. Link someone when they ask you the question.
Exclamation point name in chat, and you'll get a video that addresses this issue.
Smart.
So, Dusty, how did the Game Hopper come to fruition?
Well, I mean, it all started way back when I was a little youngster. So my grandmother, which I always told by my parents that it didn't start with her, but as far as I know, she was the first one to get me a frog. It was just this little green basic stuffed frog that I fell in love with, took with me everywhere I went. It had to be with me. So the grandmother saw I loved it so much, she continued to buy me frogs for birthdays, Christmas, any holiday, anytime you could give somebody a gift. I had, the car beds you have as kids. The trunk opens up. That thing was like full of frogs by the time I finally upgraded from said car bed. I don't know how old I was, but I might have been like 13 or something. It's great. I loved it. But the frog collection grew, became my unofficial favorite animal. Obviously, I have Big Hop sitting behind me. If you guys have watched me before, I won him at a carnival about 20 years ago. He's the one big stuffed animal that survived because of the love for frogs. And it just it fit. It made sense. I play a lot of games. The frog's the favorite animal. I always say now that I don't really think I chose the name. It chose me. And the Game Hopper was born. It's been my brand, I think, before I even knew it was my brand. So...
And
that's how I got
it. It's very fitting. I got to be honest. I mean, I think, and not I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but you are literally structured as a variety streamer. Like, I don't know how many games I've discovered that I never knew existed except for watching you play them. I mean,
appreciate that.
And it like the Witness being one, and that other one with the pregnant chick and all. I mean, there's so many games out there, dude. Yeah, there were so many games out there that I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, what is this thing? I've never heard of this before. I need to go check this out. And that's great. That's what a good, honestly, to me, that's what a good variety streamer does. They open eyes. They show different genres. They spread out. They spread out the way video games should be played.
Thanks, man.
So
now you cue.
Yeah, so in my line, right? I don't even say it right every time. I think I change it every fifth time I say it. But the question came out was, is it actually based off of Equalizer, right? Which originally when I branded it, no, but I'm kind of leaning as I shift more towards the Mike guy. I was like, maybe I'm gonna use that to my advantage. But it originally, so it was Qualizar, and it came out from my first big game that I played back in high school, or was I in? Yeah, was I in high school? Yeah, I was already in high school.
Yeah, like 20, 30 years.
Yeah, long enough. Back in high school was World of Warcraft. It was my first, World of Warcraft was my first big multiplayer game, my first big MMO. And I was sitting there at the character creation screen and I was like, I have no idea what to do here. And I hit a bunch of random name generators and none of them really stuck. Nothing really fit. And I was like, what would I name an orc? Like, what would I name an orc? And I was just trying to come up with something, and Qualizar just popped in my head, and it literally just stuck. I mean, it has been ever since then. Like PSN account, Xbox account, everything just literally flooded with that. And it was unique enough that it was never taken, right? It's literally it's literally a made up name. It's not like I'm spinning off of somebody or something else, right? Or I'm doing something that's an actual real word. It's just kind of spun off. So to pronounce it officially is Qualizar. A lot of times I'm like Qualizar or whatever, but I don't really care. I go by Q. Whatever you guys want to say.
All these are the reasons I just call you Q.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Chris works too, so Chris is totally easy for me as well. I'm totally fine with that. But yes, that is how the name came about. It's just kind of stuck with me, and it fits for I'd say most of the games I play, honestly. So,
what a wild word just pop into your head. That's impressive.
Well, I mean, I had like they came out like it was Qualizar. I had Goriko. I had Akuma. Akuma was an undead mage, like just random, like.
I like it.
I don't know. I was maybe I was supposed to be a writer at one point in time and write orc fiction lore or something. I don't know. Just making up something at this point. But that is where that came in from. So thank you.
And uniqueness goes a long way for people. Just a quick little input for when you're coming up with your name, just a little bit about branding. I did this with mine as well. I Googled it first, and I found out, it doesn't really exist out there on the internet. That's kind of key if you're trying to set yourself apart from other people, is making sure that when somebody searches your username, they're not getting 10,000 returns. So. Yes.
So thank you, Rogue, very much for that question in Discord. Reminder, guys, please feel free to drop questions in our Discords at any point in time, and we will address them at the end of each podcast every week. So please remember to do so. If you guys have anything that you want to think about you want us to address while we're offline. Other than that, I do want to take an opportunity to once again thank all of our Patreon supporters, thank all of our Twitch subscribers, YouTube subscribers, everybody that gives us likes, thumbs up, follows, happy faces, emotes, whatever it may be. You guys are the ones that keep us coming back. Well, actually, we keep each other coming back every week, but you guys are the ones that make it fun as we come back every week. If we sat here and talked to ourselves, we would just do that offline. It's the reason, you guys are the reasons we do this. You guys are the reasons we do this online for you all. So thank you so much for checking out another podcast. Dusty, feel free to send us off, and we will see you guys next week.
I was going to give my very first Patreon shout out as well. I got my first one, Fractured Lotus. Thank you so very much. Again, the support, it goes beyond saying that it's appreciated, and we're going to put it to good use. Again, guys, love y'all. Thank you for joining us. First What the Wednesday of 2021. Many more to come. Many wonderful things to get into. We'll see you there.
All right. Later, everybody. Have fun.
Peace.
I actually have to wait for the... There we go.
The suspenseful.
It was like delayed.